Hey everybody, welcome back to CF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Abbott, co-founder of the Challenge Athletes Foundation. Every week, I get to chat with one of our amazing challenge athletes from around the world. This week, we get to chat with old-time friend, one of the best snowboarders around now, Mr. Andre Barbieri, who is going to the Paralympics as a snowboarder, leaving in a couple days. How you doing, Andre?
Very good, very good. Great introduction. Thank you, Bob.
I love the fact that you know, because we go back to when you were trying to pair a triathlon and you tried to make the 2016 team, and I know the goal was, hey, I'm going to go in 2020, and then they get rid of your category.
That's it. Yeah, you know the story.
So crazy. So take me back. You grew up in Brazil. When did you come to the States?
2007, 15 years ago. Just following the surf dream. The idea was transferring my license in physical therapy.
Yep.
And just be closer to the ocean. And the license deal didn't work so well, but I'm still close to the ocean, surfing whenever I can.
And did your brother Diego come at the same time?
He was here 2 years earlier.
Okay. And you guys were up in Santa Barbara, you're surfing, you're snowboarding.
Yeah.
Take me back, March 11th, 2011. You're snowboarding up in Mammoth.
Up in Mammoth. Yeah. 3-day weekend. The first run of the weekend. I'm leading the way. I lose control, hit a wooden fence, and destroy my femur. And the rest is history. There was a fight to save my life. Had my brother not been behind me, I would be in trouble because I was bleeding out. So yeah. It all happens fast. The whole thing was like 5 seconds, just an accident. 5 days later, we had to say goodbye to the leg above the knee.
So what's fascinating, like you said, your brother was behind you. If he'd been in front of you, he wouldn't have known what happened, and you would have bled out there on the slopes.
Could be, because it would be a while. I was still on the slopes, but it was early morning, not a lot of people going by. It could have been ugly. By ugly, I mean,
yeah, done. Yeah. So how did that change you? Because actually your ampuversary is coming up on March 11th. How did that change you just in your whole approach to life?
It was I knew exactly what was going on when I had my accident, and I was not feeling my leg from below the knee. So the thought of amputating was looming around. And so when the doctor came and started talking about options, I just said, hey, why don't we amputate? I was just very honest about it because I knew I was going to be able to surf, and I was happy about that. I kept thinking about another friend of ours, Pirata, who's an above knee surfer from Brazil, and he became my role model. And at the end of the day, I knew I had just lost a leg and not my life. And I just decided right there at the hospital to turn this into an advantage for me. I was going to make this a trampoline to catapult me to bigger things. And that's what I did with triathlon, with the help of many. And then eventually back to snowboarding. But yeah, it just gave me a new lease in life. That's how I see it. It's just a leg. We could all do without a leg.
What's fascinating is a lot of people try to salvage. And I'm sure they said, hey, listen, you had 5 days, 4 surgeries, they amputate above the knee. But because of the fact that you knew other people who were amputees, that decision was fairly easy for you to make, rather than, had you thought about, well, let's try to hold on to it and see if I can get it back? Or you pretty much knew that, hey, this is not going to be worth it.
Exactly. You know it. You've seen it before. He said, hey, we may be able to save it. It's going to be probably another 20 surgeries down the line. A lot of the leg muscles were compromised. It was going to be a leg that wouldn't work. So I would be dragging it for, I don't know how many years. So it was really funny. I asked him, do you think I'll be able to surf? And he said, absolutely. And then I said, okay, let's chop this leg. And then that was it.
Any remorse afterwards, or you just knew it was the right thing?
No remorse, just what's the word? Mourning. You know, when
Morning.
you lose a really good friend and you go to a funeral, no one wants to lose a leg. And you never think about, oh, when I lose my leg, it just comes at you. So a lot of sad days, a lot of crying, but a lot of support from all my family, all my friends in Brazil, from the Santa Barbara community. Things just started happening then. It was beautiful.
How did you connect with CAF?
Well, it was John Beeson, arm amputee.
Yeah.
He connected me with CAF and also eventually with Loma Linda University, and they just became lifelong sponsors. He saw my story on the paper, and from there we met for lunch, and he motivated me so much. He said, "You can do anything you want," and those words were powerful.
What's fascinating again is John was the guy really who spearheaded getting paratriathlon into the Paralympic Games for 2016. And you're injured in 2011, and by 2015, you're a hopeful, right? You're hopeful for going to that first ever Paralympic Games in paratriathlon. How close did you get?
Well, it was we actually had this interview at the World Finals in Chicago in 2015. A youth interview, and it was the first time I got a penalty, which I didn't even see my number on the board, so I didn't pay for my penalty, and then I got disqualified, and that was it. So I ended up coming, I think I was 11th in the world, and it's the 10 first spots. I couldn't get an invitation from Brazil because it was already being used by a wheelchair friend. So that was it.
How did you have to adapt in terms of, you're using a cycling leg, a running leg? It's two different deals going on there. What was hard? What was the hardest thing to adapt to?
Running. It's especially being above the knee. It was a lot of falls, a lot of the back being completely jacked, a lot of chiropractor visits and strengthening. Running is the hardest one for sure. But I mean, it's for the goal to represent your country in the Paralympics. If I had to run from here to Brazil, I would have. So it becomes bigger than yourself, and that was the motivation.
How is the leg different that you use for snowboarding than your cycling leg or running leg?
He has Fox shocks
on
the knee. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, so he has shocks on the knee and on the foot. You can see the foot right now, but so it has the rebound movement that a running or a walking leg doesn't have. If you want to bend the leg, it just extends back, and that's exactly what you need. The work of your quads and your hamstrings.
So 40 years old, you make your first Paralympic team. That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a sport I love. So I just got to be thankful for all my sponsors, everyone that believed in me. I'm 40. I may be old, but age is just a number. We're doing this.
That is the coolest thing. And when you were trying to make the Paralympic team in para-tri, you were training during the day, driving a cab at night. Now you have your wife, Karina, you got two little girls. Yeah. Your life is pretty full.
Yeah, I mean, this whole sports now, unfortunately, is secondary, and family and work is more important. But thankfully, thanks to them, she's holding the fort. I get to live this dream. So yeah, I mean, it could be the last one, but I'm enjoying all of it.
For years, we have a program called Operation Rebound for our troops. And my wife has always been, you need to do Operation Rehound for injured dogs. And you have a three-legged dog, Pogo, right?
Yes.
Your kids are in the Pogo?
Oh, they love Pogo. My oldest daughter, Stella, her first word was Pobo. So she loves him. Yeah, he's a role model for them.
So now that your category is back in paratriathlon for 2024, and you would be, what, 43 years old, and nothing wrong with going to Paris.
Bob, I'm not interested. It was a whole the triathlon came to me through Loma University PossAbilities. We participated at the San Diego Triathlon Challenge.
Yes.
And then right then the dream was born, because triathlon, thanks to John Beeson, was going to debut at Brazil.
Right. That's right.
I saw the opportunity there, but I always wanted to get back to snowboarding. It's just every time I would go to the mountain, my family would be not comfortable at home. I know how much I made them sad. So it was almost like I was cheating when I would go to the mountain. I didn't want to tell anyone because I wanted to go back to something I love.
Right.
So eventually I got back to snowboarding and then started competing. But now I also have my eyes on surfing, because
I was going to say, yeah, because I think it'll be in for 2028 in LA. Possibly.
So, surfing is my biggest passion. And with snowboarding, I get to stand up again on a board. So it's priceless. And, between snowboarding, surfing, if you get to the Olympics, family, work, not necessarily in that order, there's no room for triathlon at an Olympic level.
So tell me about their snowboard cross. So you're competing in two sports: snowboard cross, March 6th and 7th, Banked Slalom, March 11th and 12th. What do you prefer? And tell me a little bit how those events work.
So the really exciting one that you guys want to watch is the snowboard cross. It's for the first time in the Paralympics, it's going to be 4 guys that leave together the gates. So that's the adrenaline event, because you're right there on the gate next to the guys. And when they call out riders ready, riders in the gate, and the gate just drop, that right there at the moment, your heart is just about to jump out of your mouth. And then there's the start section, which is really hard, which many times defines the race, because you can get all tangled up. And then it's a race course with turns and jumps and rollers. So it's about a minute and 30, depending on the course, of pure adrenaline. And you're done. You're either 4th place or you could be 1st. Anything can happen on the course.
So it's just a one run.
Well, there's qualifiers.
Okay.
That put you in a bracket to see where you're gonna be fighting for quarterfinals, semifinals, or you're just towards the end of the group. It's a qualifier that will put you in a bracket. So in a perfect world, you keep advancing on your brackets until the final, but we'll see. These are the top guys in the world. And I'm a snowboarder from Brazil.
Yeah. Are most of these guys, you're a big guy, 6'3", 175. Are most of these guys your size, or are they smaller?
All sizes, and all kinds of experience also. Most guys have 2 Paralympics in snowboarding.
Right. Yeah.
So they're veterans.
You're the rookie.
And I'm a freshie.
When did you find out that you were going to Beijing?
Was November.
Oh, okay. So you've known for a while.
Yeah, it was before we had races and training camps in Europe. It was fun because I was training, getting experience racing, but already knew, so I was already in the safe zone.
I love it. Andre, thanks so much for taking time, man. It's so cool to see you go into your first Paralympics at the age of 40. It's like when you're a little older, you get to really savor it and enjoy it more.
Exactly. Because it could be the last one. So I'm going to take every moment as it comes and enjoy it to the fullest.
Love it. Andre, thank you so much for taking time. Always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Always a pleasure. And I'll see you in October in San Diego.
Andre Barbieri has been our guest, everybody. Paralympian heading off to Beijing. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Thank you, Bob. See ya.